So a couple things I want to say before we get into it. Number one thing is, what do you feel like you need to learn the most from demos, or just like what you're doing? What do you want to focus on essentially?
Basically, when I try to go into demos, when I'm running to a spot, like every round, I try to see where my teammates are and what I can do from that spot to try to help them or get positioned around or just get a kill. Lately, at least, I've been doing that. But what I try to see is just how my positioning was, if I decided to show myself and try to take a fight at the right time, or just like look at general overall mistakes in terms of like what routes I can take to get somewhere faster and just things like that.
Okay. What do you think's your biggest like area of weakness right now? Outside of like
definitely timing with my team as to when to do the proper things and when to take control and whatnot. As well as just like comms overall, but that's a little harder to work on as far as like demos go.
Yeah, comms are kind of hard because
so
usually in Mumble and stuff, so it's
right. So I just say probably just timing overall and positioning as to where my teammates are and where I need to be and how to properly put myself in a spot where I'm not going to be killed and it's easier for me to get kills.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so I'm ready to start whenever you are. We can just go ahead and
all right.
I'll just count it down. So I'll do 3, 2, 1, and then after 1 we unpause. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. So it looks like you're working towards mid this round. Okay, so by the way, every time you die, I want you to just pause. So I just paused right now.
Okay.
Just so that I can talk a little bit about it. That round, there wasn't much you could have done differently. I think you were lacking a little bit of awareness with the window guy, because there was 2 window that you saw, and you weren't... After the first guy died, you just turned away from window, and the second guy just killed you. So that was just like a minor thing. But outside of that, like that was a good round of pressure. You're running straight up cat, which is exactly what you should be doing. And one thing that is important and that I want to kind of get across when you're watching demos like this, when you do something like that and you die because of like poor awareness or whatever, try and pay attention to the follow-up play that you made to see if it was still the right play anyways, because right there you obviously died to the window guy because you weren't paying attention to him. But if there was only that one guy window that you guys had killed, what you were doing there was looking towards connector while you were coming up cat. If you look at where your body is right now, you're on the left side of cat, okay? And with you being on the left side of cat, the angle advantage, like if you just use the free cam right now and just move around a little bit, if there is a guy wide peeking on cat, because you look towards connector, I don't know if you remember, but you looked towards connector after window. You being on the left side of cat, you're going to want to hold the cat angle there instead of looking at connector, because you're on the wide angle. So if there's a guy peeking like a crack at cat or about to peek on cat, he's going to see you while you're looking at connector, and your teammate, if your teammate's hugging the right wall, he won't be able to see the guy cat to trade off you. So when you're approaching angles like this, you want to be kind of aware of what you could be visible to, because if you're running up on the left side and you're looking at connector, you could be visible to a guy peeking cat who could only see you and your teammate can't trade, and you can also be visible to the guy connector anyways. So you're better off just taking one of those angles and hoping your teammate covers the other one. Like when you're running up cat like this, if you're going to be looking connector, you want to be on the left side there, or on the right side of on the wall, so that the wall's protecting you from that cat guy, basically.
So basically just the same basic of like just only expose yourself to one angle all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you open up the map, okay, like if you open up the big overview right now and like just draw a line from ladder room to where like the bomb is, you can see that if there was a guy playing there and you're coming up on the left side, you can see how like far ahead he'll be able to see you compared to if you were hugging the right wall there. Right. And like that's what you have to be aware of when you're pressuring positions. Limiting the exposure to different angles that you have is very, very important. And same with the other way. If this guy was opping, or if not opping, if he was peeking from cat, he'll be able to see you at the same amount of time, or connector at the same amount of time the cat guy can, but you're exposed to both them and you can't even really see one of them. And it makes it very difficult for your teammates to do anything if you die, and as a result the guy just gets away. Also, one thing I want to say right now, can you just turn off X-ray, because I don't like watching X-ray with demos because it gives away information that you might not have had in your POV. Okay, so outside of that, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that I would say. You could have positioned yourself a little bit better, and also like a little bit more awareness towards the window guy there. But when you're pressuring areas, try and expose yourself to angles. Like if you know at the start of the round, which I assume at the start of the round a cat rush was called, if you know that, you should have an idea of like, okay, I'm going to hug the right side or I'm going to hug the left side. And then when you're hugging one of those two sides, you need to know which way to look. If you're hugging the right side, you want to be looking at connectors so that the cat guy can't see you right away, and then you just kind of swing your angle towards cat, that type of thing.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. So you can unpause. I'm at 141 in the round right now. We can just kind of like, I'm just going to open up the demo thing and fast forward, or just hit the next round button, and then pause and freeze time. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, good to go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, so freeze time's going down. So this is going to be an eco round. Looks like you guys lost the first round. Not really surprising. Pretty rough situation. Oh, we're gonna buy. I like this buy. This is one of my favorite buys in Counter-Strike.
It's great. They give a rifle.
Yeah, it's the nip buy. Nip does it all the time.
Yeah, they did it in open. Huh?
Yeah.
I remember a round.
Yeah, they did it. They won that round too. They did it like multiple rounds actually. They did it like twice on Nuke. I think once on Cobble. It's good.
Who are they giving it to? Forrest?
Yeah, usually Forrest, because he's got the best angle. Okay,
yeah.
so here we see your team going up A, get a kill. You're coming through and pressuring with them. That's pretty good. Okay, so now can you pause right now? I'm at you're at Firebox with a Tech 9 looking towards stairs. Okay, so right here is an example of not understanding the strengths of your weaponry. Okay, this angle right here, if a guy peeks stairs, and because you're on an anti-eco, right? Or you're on an eco, sorry. So you know they're probably playing with like, at the very least, SMGs and have head armor. If this guy peeks stairs and has an ump or FAMAS or maybe even a rifle, he will have the advantage over you. You're giving him an advantage because the Tech 9 at this distance, I know it's a random weapon, but it's still not great at this distance, right? It's like
shitty, yeah. You want to get in their face.
Exactly. So instead of peeking this angle, I like your positioning going to Firebox. That's fine. But I don't think you should be peeking this angle if you're going to play this position. I think if you're playing this position, you should immediately think, okay, I'm going to be playing this position to win the post plant passively and make the CTs make a move. Right now, you're exposing yourself to an angle where you'll have the disadvantage, and you're in a man advantage situation. You don't need to do that. When you're in 3v2s or man advantage situations, especially if it's a post plant, you want them to be in a position where they have to force a fight on you, where you have the advantage. You don't want to be giving them advantageous fights for no reason. And right now that's what you're doing. You just have a Tech 9, you don't have a rifle or anything, you don't have an ump, so you're better off just like literally I would have probably just gone Firebox and sat there, but your teammate actually pushed stairs, so instead of playing Firebox, I would have probably been trying to help this guy stairs, Jacob. I would have been trying to help him stairs by having you pressure like towards sandwich, so that worst case scenario you can retreat into sandwich and play like an angle that's a close range angle and they have to kind of wide swing on you. Or you can trade off your teammate because he got one kill and he's engaged with another guy or about to be engaged with another guy, and you could have been there with a Tech 9 in that guy's face helping your teammate fight.
Right, okay.
Also, there was a rifle down on site that you probably could have grabbed, but that's more of like a just whatever. Long story short, don't hold long range angles with Tech 9s when you don't need to. Like, you should be setting up for some type of post plant or playing with your teammates a little bit better than holding this angle.
Okay.
Especially because your teammate's actually stairs. I didn't realize at first that your teammate was already stairs, so you're holding an angle that he's already there.
No idea why I'm holding this.
Okay, so we can unpause now.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so you're doing the right thing here. You're trying to peek for info, which is what you should be doing when you're in a 3v1 like this. Yeah, that was the right play that you were doing. When you were in the 3v1 and your teammates alive have better utility and better rifles than you and everything, that's what you want to be doing. Just trying to get info on that last guy based on your teammates' positions. So you were doing good. You were jiggling firebox. You weren't exposing yourself for the entire fight or something like that. So it worked out well. So it was a good play at the end there. Okay, so we're going to see you go towards Palace by yourself here. And it looks like it's going to be Force by coming up with pistols, so... Okay, so you're just playing End of Palace. Okay, pause.
Okay.
Number one thing you did wrong here is running. Never, ever, ever run there. You ran from End of Palace all the way to Front Palace. So no matter what, if there's a guy on A, he knows exactly where you are right now. And he's going to be able to try and like think if he can make a play. This is even worse because you're all alone here. So with you being all alone, this guy can now take a 1v1 on you. He knows exactly where you are. And he can take a 1v1 on you without you being prepared. Because you don't know where he is. You know he's somewhere on A if he's A. But that's pretty much it. He could be under balk. He could be on top of balk. He could be pushed ramp. He could be sandwiched. There's like so many spots he could be. And you've told him exactly where you are for no reason, because you guys got a kill in mid, you have control of mid, and your team's working something, so you don't want to give away information like that for free. Okay, because now you've just you've prepared him for because he doesn't know where you are. He could think you're ramp, he could think you're palace, he could think you're not even there and just holding T spawn. But now what you've done is you've told him exactly where you are for no reason. Like there's nothing that forced you to make that play. You're not running out of time. You're not in like a 1v4 or something like that. There's no reason for you to do that. You don't need to give away that information for free. He's done nothing to earn that information from you. Right? So don't do that where you just like run all the way to End of Palace. I know it's an anti-eco or like a force buy that you guys are playing against, and you're maybe trying to like kind of get in their face and get some info on if they're stacked or whatever, but you don't want to do that where you're just like running, because you could easily just get, what if the guy was like waiting end of halls and as soon as he started hearing you running, just like pop flashed you, right? Like swings out and like surprises you. Like all of those things are possible on an anti-eco, so you want to be careful about that. And the other thing, I don't even really agree with this play to go out onto A, because your team right now is just taking mid control, and it looks like they're going to be kind of like just holding that area for a little bit and getting info, which is what they should be doing. It's pretty early into the round, so knowing it's an eco, you don't really want to give them a close range fight for free. And when you're coming out end of balk, it's a pretty close range fight the first couple engagements. Like the guy could be like on the little headshot boxes on ramp, he could be on default crouch, he could be end of balk, like just waiting. So it's a pretty dangerous engagement. Most of the time I would like to see you just like hold far back. Like you saw, if you watch me stream at all, you see I'll hold, like if I think they're on eco, I'll hold like really far back in T-spawn. I'll hold like end of apps. I'll hold like all the way back watching both ramp and palace for aggression, because you want to force them into the advantageous fight for you. You want them to have to give up something to fight you. You don't want to just give them a fight for free close range. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say about this, so we can unpause it now in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Molly under balk's good. You got the info on the guy ramp and jungle. It's a little dangerous, but not the end of the world. Okay, so pause it here. Right when you died. Okay, so one thing you did there, I'm not quite sure why you didn't think the guy would be under balcony, because you mollied it earlier, but it had been about 10 seconds since that molly expired, and you knew there was a guy close ramp somewhere, right? So, because you saw him jumping up on the headshot box, and then you saw the other guy jungle. Right. So with that information, you should assume the guy's got to be somewhere close to you probably. So he's either going to be on top of balk still, he's going to be under balk, or he's going to be like firebox or default or something like that. When you jumped down there, you exposed yourself to all of those angles without clearing any of them, and you also weren't prepared for the guy to be under balk. Your crosshair placement was pretty bad. You were kind of like aiming towards ramp almost. So like if you rewind it just a little bit, you'll see what I mean. How the fuck do you rewind? I can't see my crosshair very well right now. Okay, well, I started the round again, so hold on. Or, one sec. We're technical difficulties, 1 minute.
Please pause.
But yeah, like you really want to work on your crosshair placement, because that's one of the biggest things there. You forced a fight with that guy under Balk without needing to. I think this is the round. Nope, it's not. It's this round then. I somehow skipped ahead in the demo, so now I have to find my spot again.
No worries. We're on round 3.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I just kind of like ran out carelessly.
Yeah, like, okay, so if you restart the round and go to your POV again, I want you to see, like, I want you to slow it down when you come out Palace and see what you're actually looking at, because you're not really, like, you did a good job other than running early on. Once you got to the end of Palace, you did a good job getting info without really exposing yourself too much. I think you peeked a little bit too far out early on, but that's okay. But I want you to let me know when you're back in the round. Like, go to about one. Like one. Hold on, I'm just trying to find out. 124, okay? And then just like slow it down. Go to like 1/4 speed. And let me know when you're ready. Or watching.
Okay, I'm just getting there.
Okay.
Alright, it's at 1/4 on there.
Okay, so just unpause it. And you'll see yourself kind of like, if you focus on where your crosshair is actually pointed, you see that you're not actually looking at any angles. And when you come down out balcony, you're looking towards ramp where your teammate is, and you don't even look under balc at all. You just look to jungle where your other teammate is. And you're just kind of like swinging your mouse around a lot, right?
Right.
And that's the type of thing that, like, if you're going to commit to going under balcony or to jumping out Palace, you need to, that is your priority. You don't look at any other angle. When you jump out Palace, you look at under balcony. If you're coming out with a rifle and your team's already on, like, coming out onto site, like, we have full jungle control, right? Like, you have a guy in window room basically and a guy coming up connector. So you ignore jungle completely. And if you're making the decision to jump down out Palace, your number one priority is under balcony, just regardless of the round. Even though, like, you knew there was a guy close ramp, you still just kind of ignored it and didn't really look at under balcony. So that's why you died there. If you were looking under balcony, like, you've got good enough aim that you're just going to kill that guy, unless he hits like a crazy one tap on you. But he didn't. He missed like 4 shots on you before you died. Like, you would have killed that guy. That's a kill and not a death right there, if you just have better crosshair placement.
Right.
Okay, so you can unpause and we'll start the next round when you're ready.
Okay, just get going next round.
Yeah, I'm not going to count it down, just start it up when you're ready. It's fine. Normal speed too, if you haven't yet. Okay, so looks like it's gonna be another eco. You're gonna take a fast. Okay, that's good pressure, cleared your angles properly. Nice kill on the CT guy. And that was good. So that was a good round. Like, you cleared your angles, you pressured really well there. You got a kill. You got rewarded with a kill on the guy's CT because he was rotating and you're already up far enough that you could just catch him. You did a good job, like, going CT there. There's nothing really wrong with that round. You didn't really run into anyone because they went to the other bomb site, but that was fine.
Right.
Okay, so you're throwing top mid smoke. Okay, can you pause right now?
Yeah.
Right now you're just kind of like behind mid box. This is 141 in the round for me. What you just did there, I'd recommend against. You came out mid, and that was good how you came out mid, but you stopped because the guy was spamming the smoke, and you stopped and crouched down to fire like 2 bullets into the middle of the smoke. While you were crouched there, you were exposed to both the corner of the smoke on cat if a guy peeked with an op cat, and a guy like underpass or not underpass, like connector, bottom of connector, looking top mid. The way where you crouched there exposed you to two angles that you didn't really need to be exposed to. So I'd be careful of doing something like that, especially because you just kind of fired like 2 bullets and you crouched down to do it, which slows down your movement a lot. So there's no real point doing that. It looked like you were maybe like debating spraying into it and then decided against it. But like try to have an idea of when you're taking top mid, I'm going to just go top mid right away, or I'm going to try and fight this guy through smoke. Don't like decide in the middle of a round to like do something like that where you crouch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it was a little risky just because if they had peeked or like done something where, you know, they were actually fighting mid, which some teams do, you kind of just expose yourself for no real reason, just to like spam a couple bullets into a smoke. Okay, so you can unpause now.
Okay.
Okay, so you take chair here. Let me just look. Spacing's pretty good. Okay. So pause again. Okay. So right now you're like running to the top of connector. One thing that you need to be careful of, and I've noticed you do it a lot now, this is like probably the 4th time, you swing into angles with bad crosshair placement. Like when you came up there, you swung immediately into connector, which wasn't necessarily bad, but you like were looking at the bottom of connector stairs while you were doing it. And if there was a guy at like the top connector or stairs angle, you're going to have to swing from the bottom while you're moving all the way to the top of connector and try and kill that guy. And he's going to have advantage on you because you have to change your angle just because of bad crosshair placement when you're swinging around the corner. Right. So this is something that I think you need to really work on. Just from watching this demo already, I can tell that your crosshair placement when you peek into angles is pretty bad. So I think you need to really try and work on that when you're going into angles. Understand like where people will be and pre-position your crosshair there, because right there you do something that Erica actually used to do a lot, where like you'll, instead of peeking angles in isolation, you'll like swing your whole body into it, but your crosshair's not at the right place to actually be able to use that like forward momentum that you have essentially. So like you'll swing into the angle and run all the way up connector, but even right now, like where I'm paused, it's at 130, you're aiming like almost at the ground and you're almost at the top of connector already. So your crosshair placement needs to be a little bit more effective and efficient. I think that's one thing that you need to work on a lot. Okay, so you can unpause now. That was good pressure though. You did a good job splitting on the site with your team. You got the kill on jungle because of that. Just crosshair placement again was just a little bit off before that. It worked out because the guy jungle wasn't ready, so you caught him anyways, and he just got annihilated by that. But
right.
It's very, very proactive round for me. Just spamming the box, yes. Getting your.
Staying with the bomb, you know, being a good teammate.
Shooting the bomb a little bit for good measure. Yeah, pretty important, you know. Yeah, just gotta keep it in line. Sometimes it disobeys you, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a good round. Like that was good pressure. You did the right thing. Just again, crosshair placement needs to be a bit better, I think.
All right.
All right, so this is gonna be another anti-eco. Looks like you guys are gonna just take A fast. Okay, I'd be careful of going alone with a bomb in halls. Just a minor note, like it's if they double push it or something, they can gain control of it. Okay, now again,
that was also a dumb play.
Yeah, what you just did right there. You know there's people on A, and you ran out not looking at anything again. This seems to be your biggest issue. You run out, and like I don't know if you're not processing that there's people there, or you're just like your mind's ahead of what you want to do and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go pressure the site, and then your crosshair's just not, like your body's not ready basically, so your crosshair's looking at nothing, but like you just committed to like a full 6 angles while you're running out and you were looking at nothing again.
I think some of that comes from me just like I see my teammates fighting and I'm like, oh shit, I need to go help them, you know? But
Yeah.
I just
Which is the
throw mechanics out the window at that point.
Yeah, like that's the right mentality to have, but especially when you're working somewhere like Palace, you have to be methodical and like know when your angles are going to be exposed and what you need to like pick up. You can come out Palace and help your teammates by just looking at the right angle and killing the guy there, right? Like if you know there's a guy under balcony, a guy default, you can just peek out Palace and isolate that guy default instead of trying to just jump out balcony right away. You can help your team by fighting that guy default. You don't doesn't mean helping your team doesn't mean like getting into the middle of like 3 different guys and trying to kill them all. It means just like getting there and fighting with your team. You know, that doesn't mean you have to be exposed to every single person on the other team. You can just take a fight with one of them and that's it. Right. So again, that death
makes sense.
All 3 of your deaths so far are from like a combination of awareness and poor crosshair placement. So I'll see if that's a continuing theme, but yeah.
Alright, I'm at the start of the next round.
Okay. Yeah, I'll skip ahead to that. Just 1 second. You can unpause it, that's fine. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna have you op now. Gonna go for a B pick, looks like.
Sorry for all the quick switching. I do it way too much.
That's fine. Okay. So you got smoked out upper B, you move down to mid. I like that. That's good decision making. Smoke off cat. That was a nice shot. Overcommitted a little bit to that angle. Ooh, no one cleared firebox. That's not good. That round's honestly like that's 100% on your 2 site teammates. No one clearing firebox is a pretty big mistake. Yeah. The only like minor thing I would say in that one is when you peeked CT, you wide peeked it pretty hard, which when you're opping is kind of risky because if you had missed that shot on that guy, which happens when you're opping sometimes, like you miss shots, right? Yeah. If you had missed that shot, he has a kill on you. Instead of like, you could have played more of an angle like against the close box where if you miss the shot, you can immediately just get out of his POV and you can't be killed by him. So just a minor thing there, like maybe hold the box a little bit tighter so that you're not dead if you miss, basically. Okay, so I'm at the start of the next round. It's just starting right now.
Okay.
So we see you going mid. You go smoke off window. The guy boosts. Is there a reason you chose to buy Deagle instead of like a Galil?
Kind of preference probably. I just think I'm okay with the Deag, but I probably should just go for a rifle or like that SMG.
Yeah, when you have that much money, I mean, you could definitely probably just buy a rifle there. I think it's the Galil's a much better choice. You just kind of got unlucky there because he peeked you and you only had a Deagle. I think like the Deagle is more fun to use. 100% agree with that. But sometimes it's better to just get that rifle because that extra damage can help you a lot. Like a Deagle's kind of kill or die essentially.
Right.
All right, so I'm skipping ahead to the next round. I'm just gonna reload the demo quickly because getting a little bit of demo lag.
All right.
Give me 1 minute. Just because I screwed it up when I was. It's 4-4, right? We're around round 8 or round 9.
Yeah, or round 9. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, so you're rifling again. We're gonna see you go top mid. There's cross smoke. Okay. Pause for a sec.
Okay.
I'm around 140 right now. I think I might be a bit behind you, but do you know the window smoke from back mid boxes?
I do not. I should probably learn it.
Okay, you should learn that. It's a very common smoke. It's very, very simple. You should definitely learn it. You just expose yourself to like 3 angles and ran all the way down mid with a smoke out. Very dangerous, especially because they've been fighting mid like pretty often earlier in this. But just in general, like it's 100% worth your time to learn that smoke just to solve. Like if you did that, you've probably died. Like if you do this commonly, you probably died like 20 times from doing that over the course of like a month, and your smoke's probably based on the trajectory you threw it going to be bad anyways, because I'm not sure it hasn't landed yet, but I think there's going to be a gap, right? So you should definitely learn that smoke. Very, very important. Makes this a lot easier. You can just throw that smoke, then you can take top chair, go top mid, go connector, whatever you want to do, but it makes it 100 times easier. So definitely learn it. That's very, very risky. Just expose yourself. You ran all the way up mid with a smoke up, basically. So
yeah. All right. I will learn that after this one.
Okay. I'm gonna unpause now. Yeah, there's a gap in the left side. I just saw the smoke land. So
yeah.
All right.
Shame on me.
So there's a guy, Cat. You see him? Did a good job. Just kind of shooting at him. Flashed high. Okay. What you're doing right now, again, I think you're pressuring too much. Can you pause?
Yeah.
You're in a 3v4 right now. You have the right idea to come up connector, but you seem to be very impatient, I think. Like the way that you should do this, you have a habit of running when you shouldn't be running a lot of the time. Like you ran there for no reason. You're basically leading the hit onto site, and you've given them info by running that whole way up connector that you're about to come stairs on them. They're ready for this. They're going to be expecting you to peek stairs. So they're going to be set up in a position where you're going to basically die. Like they don't even have people on the bomb site, and I'm pretty sure you're going to die here just because this guy jungle for sure heard you. And he knows exactly where you guys are now because of this. So you could have just walked up there, and you might have caught that guy jungle because your teammate got boosted into ladder room. So that guy jungle is now worried about where they could be coming from. There could be a guy in window, and he doesn't know. You can see if you go to whatever the hell his name is, Sec Demoli. If you go to his POV, you can see he's looking towards window room, but he has his back towards connector because he knows you just came up there. So you might have been able to catch this guy looking towards window room if you didn't run that way. But now because he's aware of you guys there, he's repositioned himself into a spot where you guys can't really kill him super easily. You probably still will get the jump on him because he's kind of fucked. Like he's not really getting any team support. But again, like if you just walked that, you might have caught him trying to reposition and get a free kill on him, which evens up the numbers. Because this guy should be like, when you're in a 3v4, this guy should be the guy you're trying to kill. He's alone, his teammates aren't really helping him, and you can get a kill on him. So if you just walk up connector there instead of just full plowing up the whole time, you have a chance to get that kill.
All right. So just in general, like more patience across the board.
Like you do a good job pressuring when your team is fighting with you, but what you need to do is like realize, hey, right now we're in a 3v4. We can't just run onto a bomb site, especially because it's only you and one other guy connector. Your other teammate's in ladder room, so he can't even help you. You're not taking this site. You're trying to get an opening so that you can take a site right now. Okay, so you can unpause now. So you flash from stairs, you get down into sandwich. No one's dealt with this jungle guy, and there you go. The jungle guy heard all of that happening, just peeked after that, and now you're in a really rough situation. He killed your teammate because you guys were making so much sound.
Right. Makes sense.
Alright, so next round, looks like you're gonna... Let's see you go towards top mid. Deagle again. Let's see if you can make it work this time.
Doubt it.
Okay, that was a good job. You got in position to help your teammate fight there. Again, you took that way too fast there. You knew that guy was jungle. Oh my god, that guy was in wrecking him. You knew that guy jungle was there, and you still tried to commit onto the site instead of just trying to trade that kill jungle. So I mean, maybe you didn't recognize that the guy killed your teammate from jungle. But you were in a good position to trade that kill, so instead of going all the way upstairs and trying to drop sandwich, you should have just hugged the wall and tried to trade that guy jungle.
Just play connector a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You seem to have a habit of whenever you go connector, you try and run all the way upstairs and drop down right away.
Yeah, I definitely do.
That's good pressure. You got a good trade there. See, right there, you actually did what I was talking about earlier on the round, where you hugged the right wall. This is what I was talking about on pistol. You hugged the right wall, and as a result, you weren't visible to that guy when you wide peeked cat, and you got a trade because of it. You got the trade kill on him because you were hugging that right wall, and when he peeked cat, he saw your teammate, killed your teammate, and then you were in a position coming up on that right wall to get in his face with a Tech 9 and kill him right away. That's the type of thing that you should have been doing on pistol round as well. Because there you were able to look at connector, realize there's no one connector, and the cat guy wasn't able to kill you. Okay, so I'm on the next round now. It's 6-5.
Okay, let me get there. In there.
Yeah, so see, you're hugging the right wall again, which is right. Unfortunate that guy boosted up and you didn't have a flash through the smoke. If you had like one flash through the smoke there, you probably would have resulted in a kill. One of your mid players should have been flashing that. Okay, so I'm on the next round. Not much you could have done there. You came through smoking through a guy looking straight at you, so I'm assuming that was the call that was made, was to try and trade that guy cat, so I'm not gonna...
I would hope so, yeah.
It looked like you guys had like a set idea of what to do, but... Alright, so now this is an eco. I'm gonna see you go towards A. Okay, so just holding top mid right now. I think there's not a lot you can do in a situation like this. Your team's just trying to look for a pick, so you're just holding for cat. One thing I would point out right now, if you pause it, if you switch over to your teammates' perspectives, you can see right now that Obe is on chair and he's looking at cat. So you're basically just looking, you're not even really covering the same angle because he can die and you can't help him at all. So you're essentially just watching nothing right now. And I saw him, he was top mid with you, and then I saw him on radar creep up to chair, and I assumed he was probably going to be watching that angle. So I think you probably need to look at your radar a little bit more, because I was watching him on radar, and when he got the chair I paused it. But it doesn't look like you're aware of that at all as a possibility. So how often do you think you look at your radar?
Definitely not enough. It's something I've tried to improve like lately on because I noticed I wasn't doing it at all
Okay.
for the most part. Like when I would check it is when I'm just like when it's smaller man scenarios and I want to know where my teammate is, but not so much during like early mid round or like at the start of the round when like I need to see how my teammates spread, I guess. So
Okay, so have you ever played like MOBAs or anything like that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
like 4 years of LoL.
yeah, so if you've played League of Legends, I haven't ever played League of Legends, but I assume they have a mini map in League of Legends. Yeah. So you know how important it is to look at your mini map in League of Legends, right? Like you have to look at it for hero positions all the time.
Right.
Like at least every like 30 seconds at a minimum, you should be looking at it, right? So like,
Yeah.
so that's kind of like how important it is in CS, and it's important for different reasons, but the main reason is to understand like where your teammates are and what they can do and what you can do to help each other. So in a situation like this, you need to be aware that your teammate's now gone up cat. And like for me, I play, when I'm playing, I look at my radar probably every 5 seconds. And like you need to train yourself so that it's just a quick glance and you know what to look at. So when I'm looking at my radar, if I'm mid right now, I'm not looking at my A player and I'm not looking at my B player. I'm literally just focused on the 3 dots on our team that are mid. And that's what I was just doing right now when I'm watching the demo. When I was watching this demo, I was looking at the 3 dots that are mid and trying to figure out where they were. I just have a quick glance at them. I see my teammate creeping towards chairs. So what I would do in this position is start to get closer with him. I'd creep down the mid ramp so that my underpass teammate, who's now under window, if he gets peeked from connector, I can trade the kill. If a guy peeks cat, I can fight cat with my teammate on chair. I can get closer and be useful that way. Even though you just have a deagle and you guys are like searching for a pick, it's probably not likely anything will happen that you can use, but it's possible. And right now what you're doing is just kind of useless. You're not doing anything. You're not watching anything. You're just watching a wall basically that's going to stay there and not move. So there's no real point. So you need to really work on that, I think. Because that's something that I've noticed a little bit throughout this demo. There haven't been a ton of scenarios where it's affected you too much, but this is one of them where you're now just watching a pointless angle. Like you could even actually just like stay in the top mid boxes and crouch like at the bottom or at the left side of it and just watch for a guy to wide swing window on your teammate so that your guy under window just waits for that. Like if you want to play, you have a deagle, you want to play a pretty like passive angle generally with a deagle. You don't want to like get in someone's face. So if you're playing with a deagle like this, you know, you can just watch for the guy peeking window instead of watching cat where, you know, you're not needed.
Nothing is going to happen. Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, so we can unpause now. Okay, a little slow to react on the guy under balcony shooting, but
just a bit.
Yeah. But outside of that, I mean, there's not much you guys could have done that round, I think.
It's kind of sad watching this, just how slow my reaction time was.
Yeah, he was shooting for a good while. A little slow to...
Just a bit. I mean, I know.
Alright, so we're seeing you go top mid again. It's like that underpass peak. Okay, so... Yeah, I was about to say. Right now, you just know your teammate got picked from an opera, and you should know that you have no mid support, right? Like, the reality is you should know, okay, one of my teammates just died to an op, and the rest of my team is upper B. So... while in some situations running up chair is the right play, right now you don't really have any type of support mid at all. So doing something like that, especially because if you look at your economy, your team's economy, you were one of the only 2 rifles left in this round. So you just gave that rifle away for no reason. You could have utilized that with your teammate a lot better. After your teammate died to that op mid and you knew you were alone, you needed to just like fall off that angle. You exposed yourself to way too many angles. So I'd be very cautious of doing things like that. You're not going to get that pick. Like, no offense, I'm not saying you're not good or anything. I'm just saying that, like,
unrealistic.
At best, now you're fighting 1v1 against an op with a really long range area. At worst, you're fighting against, you know, maybe 2-3 players mid with flashes that are going to blind you or whatever, and you have no team to trade. So it's a very, very low probability spot for you to be in. You're not going to get a kill most of the time making a play like you just did. Not to mention, you ran up mid without looking at Cat at all. When you're running past that smoke towards chair, you need to be focused on Cat. That's where the majority of action is going to come from, and you weren't aware of it or looking at it at all. So, yeah, I would have liked to see you make a better decision there. That was a pretty bad decision, I think, just kind of throwing your life away for nothing there. You weren't really even looking at anything. So that's there's a lot of different things you could have done there too. So you could have, like, what you could have done is said, oh, they're opping mid, right? So what's a good way to deal with a mid opper? Well, you can pull your team from upper B and have them come underpass, especially since you have 2 pistols, which are fast moving, right? Like, you move fast when you have a pistol. Right. You can have your pistol players just like YOLO out underpass while you sit top mid and you hold Cat. This Cat guy might overcommit to a fight on the underpass guys because his connector guy's opping, right? So he might be worried that his connector guy's going to pinch. He might overcommit, and then you can get a kill on him with the rifle from far back mid while he's focused on your 2 pistols underpass, something like that, right? Like, there's a lot of different plays that you can make if you just be a little bit conservative after something like that happens. You're right that you kind of have to make a play when you're a man down. You have a bad situation right now because you got picked mid, so you do need a play made. But when you're making those plays, you still want them to be, like, you know,
smart.
Yeah, exactly. You want them to be a play that has a chance of success, not like a 10% chance play. You want it to be, you know, like a 50% chance play. So it's something that you need to kind of work on a little bit, I think. Just kind of throwing your life away for no real reason. Okay, we're going to pause and go to the next round.
What round are you at?
It's 9-5 right now, so it's the final round of the half.
Sorry, I'm in dummy. I was messing up.
No problem. Did you give me a pause?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Said 9-5?
Yeah, it's the last round of the half.
Okay. Alright, I'm good. You start.
Okay. Alright, so we're going to see you buy Deagle again. Let's see if we can get that elusive kill.
The Deagle is not good this game.
Two cross smokes. It's unfortunate. Okay, so you're coming up, Cat. Okay, so pause. Okay. Right now you're around get right. You did the thing that we were talking about earlier. You actually made a really good play to get up Cat. You probably don't realize it, but they have no idea you're up Cat. They have absolutely no clue. And instead of like recognizing that, hey, no one's seen me Cat, I'm all the way up, I can maybe like make a play here. You just run all the way into sight. So now there's going to be a guy that's going to hear you. This guy Van right now is completely focused on upper B. Same with the guy Market. There's a guy Market who's opping and he's focused on upper B only. Both B players are focused on upper B, and you've made yourself into B. If you would have played this a little bit more sneaky, it looks like you might get a kill on a guy Van. But if you would have played this a little bit more sneaky, you could have actually gone in like close Market. You could have walked up the left side here, ignored that guy Van, and just told your team, just wait a sec. Because your team, if you look at radar right now, your team's far back anyways. The bomb and one other player are like at the entrance to B, basically. Right. So you right now have the round in your hands, essentially. You can make a play that will win you the round by just walking up like the trash area and killing that guy that's like Market or rotating. He's double scoped on upper B. Like he will die to you. Instead, you try and run up get right. I think, yeah, you get lucky and get a kill because the guy's trying to jump away from Van, but anyways, okay, so you can unpause now. I'm around 121, so I see you just about to kill the guy. So you do kill that guy, and you make a good play to like get his op and pressure sight. So now you're in a good position. You just weren't quick enough on the shot there on the guy door. I think that was actually an okay peek. It wasn't the end of the world. Kind of did make it a rough situation, but it was still, I think, the right play. I think you could have got a kill there if you were just a little bit quicker.
If it didn't suck so much.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like a little bit rough on the timing. I think you hesitated to make the peak a little bit, which cost you. Okay, so we're going into the next half now. There's not much about that round outside of that. Like, you got really lucky that van guy had an op and had to fall back, because otherwise I think you would have just given yourself away and died. Because that guy kind of just jumped into the middle of your screen, luckily. But it wasn't really...
It was pretty much an easy shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he was already pretty low, so it only took one shot. But you made a really good play to get up cat there that fast. You just needed to utilize it a little better when you were there. Okay, so I'm starting pistol round right now.
You see some fun B anchor action going on.
Yeah. You missed the thing with your knife.
The funny spot on Mirage if they never come there.
Ooh. Yeah, that angle that you just played on pistol round is a pretty T-favorite angle. I'd avoid it at almost all times.
Okay.
The only time it's good is if you're like heavily stacking B, which you guys weren't really. Also, right now, can you pause it?
Yeah.
So right now you're playing Fallen, right? Fallen's a good angle, but you're playing it with 5 HP. When you're low HP like this, you want to be playing a headshot angle and forcing them to kill you. So I would have liked to see you go either bench here, or what I would prefer is the wood paneling to your right. You could just play that angle and watch for them to cross out where they have to headshot you. And it's a better angle. It's pretty much the exact same angle you're playing right now, but you're not exposing your body to it.
Cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a much better angle to play. I would have liked to see that instead of what you're currently playing, just because of how low your HP is. So you can unpause now. Okay, so you do end up going to bench, which is better. You get kind of wrecked. Not much you could have done there. That was a nice shot from him. That was the right play going towards bench. He just hit a really nice shot on you. I think there's a better angle that you could have played to the right side of bench if you knew they were coming up cat, where it's like a little square that you can see through. It's a really gimmicky angle on pistol round. Yeah. So that would have been slightly better, I think. But outside of that, I think there was not really much wrong with what you did there. Okay, so I'm on the next round. You guys ended up winning pistol round. So we're going to see you buy an ump, smoke, and Molotov. Okay, I like the purchase. That's pretty much what you should be prioritizing. I would have liked to see you buy a flash as well, since you have an extra $300. Flashes are really useful to stop B rushes or B plays.
Right. You know this weird habit sometimes where I'm like, okay, I just spent all my money, but I still want to save some just in case. But that's a dumb way to think.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're an anchor, when you're playing an anchor position, you need to make sure that you're doing your best to stay alive. So you'd want to use that utility to do so. Alright, so we see you rotate to window room here. Nothing really wrong with that. Quick switching while holding an angle is very dangerous. I'd suggest not doing it. Okay, so they smoke you off window, and it looks like you're going to rotate towards market. Yeah, that's probably the right play. Okay, so your teammate just killed someone B. Yeah, that was a pretty risky play. You knew, based on your positioning, I could tell that you knew that there was a guy around jungle or window room or something, because the way that you were playing kitchen earlier, you were very scared of that. You were watching that and you were like jiggle peeking that, right? Mm-hmm. So it looked like you were aware that that was a possibility. So with that being a possibility, you never want to crawl through that. It's called murder hole for a reason. If they have like a guy that they boosted window with a Tech 9 or something like that, he's going to just kill you. Like, you're dead every time there. So that's a very, very, very risky play. Not to mention, your teammate was actually shooting at someone going up cat, And instead of helping your B teammate who had killed the guy upper B, so Ob was upper B, killed the guy upper B, and then your other A teammate saw a guy go up cat and was shooting at him. Instead of playing kitchen and supporting your B player, you crawled through murder hole and gave the guy that was controlling the rotation a kill on the rotator, the closest rotator to B. So not only did you abandon your B teammate while he was actually being pressured, but you made it so that you basically gave them complete control of the rotation. If you open the, I'm at 39 seconds right now, and if you open the minimap right now, you'll see a 4-man squad just in a line across the map going towards Ob at B, and both your A players now have no idea where that window guy is, and you've given them control of the map. So that's something where, like, that one play right there will probably just outright lose this round just from making a play. It was a 4v4 it was a 4v4 right there, and you guys had a general idea of where they were, and that one play right there is probably going to lose the round just because it was one kill, only one kill, but the amount of control they gained from that one kill is way too high. Because you need to recognize when you're in a position of rotation like that, if you're playing the rotator, you need to understand that, like, if I die here, that hurts my team a lot. We have no mid control at all. We have no control of upper B. If I die in kitchen to a guy jungle or something like that, we're fucked if they go B. And that's what they're doing right now. You know they're going B. So that play right there probably is going to outright lose this round unless there's some type of heroic retake or play. Ob's on 10 HP. There's almost no way he lives at B here. He's just going to die.
Right.
So, okay, so you can unpause now. But but that was just a really careless play. You were aware of a guy being there, and you still just like crawled through that. And even as the rotator, that's an even worse thing to do. There's no real reason for you to go into window room. I don't even know why you went into window room there. It's not like they were executing on A or anything and you're trying to get closer to A. So this is just a pretty questionable play. I think you need to make sure that you're not making decisions like that on CT side. Yeah, Nob just dies, and now this is going to be almost impossible. It's a 2v4 retake. And they have full market control. So this round's pretty much over. I'm gonna fast forward to the next round, and yeah, they ended up winning that round. And again, that was a round that you guys should have won, actually, because if you looked at their HP before you died, they had like 2 or 3 players that were below 50 health. So that was definitely a winnable round, but plays like that will lose it. And now you're on eco now because of that round. So it's everything adds up in Counter-Strike.
I am seeing that now, yeah. For sure. Did you start the next round?
Yeah, I did, yeah. It's just a eco round, so I'm just seeing if there's anything really, but I think it's going to be just you trying to do something. So you did a good play here. You jumped down underpass. I'm kind of far into the round, probably compared to you. I'm at 130. But you got info that there's no one mid. You jumped down underpass. Pause at 121. I'm at 121. You can pause a little bit before that.
1 sec.
You did the same thing that you always do.
Alright, I'm there.
Okay, so you made the right play to jump down underpass, and you're pushing it. You're walking down underpass, and with no info at all, you have no idea where these guys are. They haven't gone out on A. You have 3 teammates towards A. You ran all the way up the stairs underpass. If there was a guy upper B, he would have heard you. Like, they're actually not, like, so you get kind of unlucky or lucky depending on the perspective you take, but they could have been walking or grouping towards upper B right now, and if they were there, they would have heard you and just turned around and killed you. Whereas if you had just walked the whole way and they were there, you could have got a free kill on them. So like that type of thing, you seem to always have this like thing where you make kind of the right play, but then you rush it way too much and run. And there's no reason to run it. Like, just think right now, okay? So you're at the bottom of underpass. What does running up underpass gain you?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. There's no difference between running up underpass or walking up underpass. If they go A, you're already so far away that it's completely irrelevant if you've made up that extra like 1.5 seconds by running, right? Like, your team's going to either die or win the round. It's going to have nothing to do with you. Running up underpass is going to do nothing to help your team. So you're basically just giving away all of that information if they're there for 1 second of running up underpass for no reason. Like, there's no, like, I can't think of a single positive that would come from that. So there's no reason to do something like that. Like, it's understandable if it's like, oh, I really have to go help my team. They're engaged in a fight or something like that. But they're not right now. They're at A. They're nowhere near you. You can't do anything to help them from this point. So you have to just kind of play like, okay, well, if they are coming B, I'm going to just try and walk up. And then you could maybe get a kill. They're still in T spawn, so they might have even heard you. But the other thing you have to remember is, like, if there's a guy top mid, if they're just holding like a really passive default, that guy top mid heard you. Because you just ran all the way up. And if you look at like where the wall is, it's right here. If he's just like, I mean, you can't see where I'm looking, but the distance in the wall is not much. You can hear, if this guy's like towards T spawn side of mid, he can hear you run that way. So there's no reason to do it. And it's a habit that you have that's bad. And then
I will try to break it then.
Yeah.
Just slow my roll across the board pretty
exactly
much.
Like, recognize when you don't need to run in situations like that. If you're alone, like, there's no reason to run unless your teammates, like, you have the bomb or something like that, or they're executing on A, and then at that point then run out. But you don't know that they're executing on A. They're not going A at all right now. They're just set up in a really passive default and haven't done anything.
Right.
Also, I would have liked to see you take control a little bit more. So you walked up, or ran up underpass, right? And then walked upper B and cleared it. Once you got to the end of B halls and recognized that there was no one B, you should walk back and just go T spawn. Because you know that...
Just like regain control.
Exactly,
of it,
yeah.
pretty much.
You want to try... You're in an eco here. You want to try and find something. You don't want to try and like hold. And what you did is you went towards like upper B and then tried to like hold B again after you know they're like not there, right? There's no one B. So... if you would have walked like T spawn, you could have maybe got a gun from a dead body, killed the guy that was, holding back mid really late, got info for your team so you could all rotate. Like, there's a lot of different things that you can do. Even though you just have like a USP or P2000 or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You shouldn't try and hold the site at this point. You should try and get some info, keep walking towards T spawn, find out what's happening, instead of trying to go like towards B. Once you know that that's clear, just say, okay, that's now closed in my mind. I'm going to move somewhere else and try and get info towards T spawn or something.
All right, that makes sense. Are you on the next round?
No, I'm still watching this round. You're like on cat right now. I just want to see what happens.
Oh, okay.
And they're walking really... See, this would have been this is actually a perfect example of it. If you had walked T spawn instead of going back to B and holding it, you would have known that their entire team is coming B right now, and you would have had info early enough that both your A players could have rotated to B, and you could have had a 3-on-3 stack there. Instead, you are now cat, and your team's really far away. You can see Obe is at... I don't know where you are in the round or if you're on the next round, but basically you see that Obe's at A alone, and I'm on my way from like CT spawn, and now you're B alone instead of having that info on where they are early enough so that you can rotate, or your team can rotate. So this round's going to be a wash probably. I think you're just going to get pinched pretty much. Nothing you can do. You die. But they got the bomb planted with only 5 seconds.
So basically, if I just delay it a bit more, we have way better shot.
Yeah, or if you walked T-spawn, if you played further up and got control or info on that area, your team could have rotated way earlier. And with the amount of time left in the round, they wouldn't have been able to change their mind. They couldn't go back to A at that point. They would have had to commit. And you could have had both players there and maybe done enough to like stop the plant in time where they can't get the bomb down. Instead of just having you there die right away and then having me, the second player, like try and have to solo stop the plant against 3 players. Okay, so I'm on the next round now. So it's 7-11. I'm around 149 right now, so you're just entering B.
Okay.
So let me know when... I have it paused right now, so if you're not there.
Alright, I'm there.
Okay. Okay, so double smoked on upper B. That's unfortunate. Generally, you should communicate with your cat player who's smoking first. If your cat player wants to play aggressive, he should be smoking your upper B first, because now it's 1:30. When that smoke runs out at about like 122, you're going to have no utility other than 2 flashes to delay anything B.
Right.
So it's 122. The smoke is now run out, and you have nothing at all B. So you could have had another smoke right here, delayed it a little bit more, jump spotted a little bit, that type of thing. Okay, so again, please stop quick switching when you're holding static angles. It's a very bad habit. You haven't been punished for it yet, but... Alright, so you're going to flash peek for info. That's good. And now you're full rotating. Oh, your teammate pushed underpass. Okay, yeah, that's the right play. Coming through jungle. Clear mid, so there's no lurker. Okay, so you know there's an op palace. He just shot at you. That was a dangerous jump. No real point to make that jump. Wait, so right there, I'm not entirely sure what you were doing. You got into jungle and you're with your teammate, and it looked like both of you, the stairs player and yourself, were just like holding jungle. And then instead of just staying there and fighting with your team on A, which is the only spot they could go because you had a teammate in T-spawn who had pushed underpass, you like ran back to window there and were just kind of like jumping around in window, like kind of like half looking at mid but not really looking at mid, which there's no one that could even be mid. So instead of doing something like that, just like stay with your team in situations like that. I think you kind of like move around too much when you don't need to be in rounds like that. Like just stay with your teammate. You had a good crossfire stairs where like if a guy came out sandwich and swung on the guy's stairs, you could trade him right away. But instead what you do is you leave that, and then if both your A players die, you are in window and your teammate's in T spawn. Now you've given them basically the site for no reason when you were already there. It's not like you were a late rotate or something like that. You were there. You could have fought with your teammates if they like. Luckily your teammates won the fight. Like Delph got the guy ramp and I think I got the other guy, but there was no reason for you to leave me and Delph there. You could have fought with us when we were fighting. So that's a situation where you just need to like be aware of, hey, this is my team. I'm going to fight with them. They're here. I'll just stay here. There's nowhere else. I feel like, I don't know, maybe you're like really worried about mid for some reason, but just try and have a little bit more awareness of what's happening in the round. Yeah.
You could have.
Okay, so I'm on the next round. All right. So it's going to be an anti-eco. You're playing the anchor. Okay, so one thing I'll say here. Okay, you used it eventually. That's fine. If you're gonna play an anchor, by the way. That's good. Okay, so that was really good positioning from you, actually. You did a really good job there. You threw your smoke down, you fought through the smoke, and you fell back into a good position where your teammate could help you. You had good support from your teammate as well. When you're playing the B anchor or any type of anchor, you should only be buying HE grenades if you like have a really good idea of when or how you should use it. A flash is always going to be more important to you because it gives you time to delay. You can use it to get info, and then you can use your second one to delay. If you only have one flash and you use it early on, it gives you nothing to really delay them with. If they execute on B or something like that, like you're basically just committing to trying to kill them. That HE grenade usually won't do a whole lot. So it's almost always better as an anchor to have a flash, unless you guys are going to be like double nading end of halls or something like that. Like even you threw that grenade and they were like pretty close to it and it didn't really do that much. Like it did like 40 damage in total or something like that. It's not really that great. That was a good hold though. Like that was a pretty good job positionally. Okay, so pause. It's 141 in the round right now for me.
All right.
When you're jump spotting, if you're going to be jump spotting like this, you know they're on a buy round this round, or you should at least know they're on a buy round based on how the economy's gone and whoever your in-game leader is for this game will call it. But when you're in a situation like this, jump spotting with a molly when you have an HE grenade is actually kind of useless. The molly is not going to do a whole lot of good unless you spot like their entire team there. If you have an HE grenade, it's better to use your HE grenade to tag them and slow them down and then molly like the run up. So if you're jump spotting, you would throw your HE grenade right after you spot them, and then if you know they're committing, you'd just molly the like, I don't know how to describe it, like the exit middle area plat thing, yeah, whatever the hell it is, right? So that it forces them into an area, and the HE grenade tags them a lot more, so that you can just bomb utility. Like you can throw your molly, then you can throw flash, and you can reposition to like fall in or like the sight angle, anything like that. You're doing a good job not using your utility early though, which is important. Okay, so it doesn't look like you're sure of what to do. Okay, can you pause it?
Yeah. What time are you at?
It's 1:07 for me right now.
Okay.
What time are you at?
51. I'm a bit
Okay, yeah, you're
I'll just wait.
Yeah, just hold on. I'll see if... what you've done right now, basically, is your teammate, Cat, died, and you're repositioning into like a really passive angle. So right now, here, let me get to where you are if I can, because it might... Okay, so you get a rotation, but you've been sitting in this spot for about 20 seconds right now. So 51, okay. So you haven't moved spots at all. You're in the exact same spot as you were 20 seconds ago. When your teammate Cat dies like this, you need to understand like what you're open to. The angle that you're playing right now, if they come up Cat, which they could have, because they're actually in connector right now, you can see on the overview that they're in connector, but you don't know that they could have been up Cat right now. If they come up Cat, that guy get right, if they have like two guys get right, they're going to see you immediately and you're just going to get traded. There's nothing that you can do to delay. You've got right now, if you look at your inventory, you've got an HE grenade, a flashbang, and an incendiary. That's $1,000 of inventory right there, of utility. Right? That you're not going to have a chance to use if they just walk up Cat. What you could have done is you could have used your molly to molly up deep B and then tried to take a more aggressive position on Cat. Or conversely, you could play a really passive position on B. You could play like Fallen and just like kind of jiggle P Cat a little bit and then use your utility if you see anyone to delay them. But where you're playing right now, you're playing essentially a one and done that you're probably actually going to lose even if they come up Cat. Because they'll just peek you. They have the advantage. Because look where you're aiming right now. You're looking at the window for the jump up. If they come up Cat, they'll just come up gut right. They'll be looking around your area and they'll just kill you. They could also be walking up on the right side. You have no info on Cat at all, so you're exposing yourself to multiple angles of like area of entry, and you have stuff that you could use to stop all of that. You could be getting info, you could be playing mid site, you could have even, after Ob died on Cat, you could have even played towards upper B. You smoked deep, you could have used your HE grenade to do some chip damage if there's a guy behind it. You could have mollied behind the smoke into the kitchen area, and then you could have walk pushed it late round. And then got info for your team and called rotation. Your team right now is pushing ramp, so it's going to work out that they'll get info probably. But yeah, like there's a lot of things that you should do. This is a really bad angle to play if your Cat player dies, because you're just exposing yourself to any type of B execute. If they came B at all, no matter how they came B right now, you would, unless they literally just 5-manned out upper B without checking anything, you would probably get at most 1 kill and die immediately. And your team would be your team would be lost. The round would be lost because you would have bought no time for your team. And by the time you know they're coming B, they're already out on site, right? So that's something that you have to keep in mind when you're an anchor. Your job isn't just to like kill them if they come to your site. It's to get info on whether or not they are coming to your site, and it's to delay for rotations as well. So this can be done in a lot of different ways, but the way that you're doing it right now, no matter what happens, if they chose to come B, they would either, unless you have like a godlike round, which you should never plan around. You should never plan around you getting like some crazy 4K. But you're playing this position, looking at this position right now, like, do you think if they came B, there'd be anything you could do to stop it? If they sent all 4 of them towards B?
No, like this probably just 1 kill.
Yeah.
If that.
Best case scenario, you get 1 kill. But the problem with getting 1 kill in this scenario with this position is that you get 1 kill, but they're already immediately onto site, right? It's not like you get 1 kill if you're pushed up like upper B or something like that, and then it buys your team like 5 seconds of rotation time. Right now, if you get 1 kill, the site is gone and they plant the bomb like 2 seconds later. So it makes it really hard for your team to retake, because if you look at the map right now, myself and Delph are A ramp. If you died on B, if they'd come B right now and you die on B, that's like a 10-second rotation time minimum just from us being at ramp.
Right.
So that makes it a very, very hard round to win. Like, it almost immediately be a lost round. So situations like that, you want to really focus on places that you can go. Like, you should have an idea in your head. If your cat player dies, your thought process should be, okay, my cat player died. Where are my other players? Right now you have a guy like jungle / window area, and then 2 players like close A ramp. You need to immediately realize that, okay, I need to do one of 2 things. I need to play an ultra passive position where I can delay for my teammates, which is not this type of position. This is like a hold the site position. You need to either play a passive position where you can like jiggle 2 areas and get info and delay, or you need to play an aggressive position where you try and like walk push upper B or something like that to get info on your team so they can rotate early. Even if you die and get 1 kill, you can still buy time for rotation just by doing that. You use all your utility early to delay a little bit longer, and then you push it. Like you walk push upper B or something like that. So you need to have an idea if you're playing the anchor on Mirage B, you need to have an idea of how you're going to respond to your cat player dying before it happens. And it needs to be like a quick thought process of, okay, Ob died cat. How many people are alive near me? Like, okay, no one's anywhere near me. You know, maybe Ob died cat and called like, okay, 3 mid. That means, okay, there's probably only 1 upper B. They're likely, if they're doing like a 3 mid control, they're probably doing a 1-3-1. Most teams will do a 1-3-1 if they're doing 3 mid control. So you might be able to push upper B and take a 1v1 with that guy and win it, and then just control that area. Or you could get info on that one guy. You could jump spot upper B, that type of thing. Like, there's a lot that you could do that is not just like hold a really passive bad angle that's like a one and done. That gives no info.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay?
Yeah.
So unpause now.
Yep.
Okay, so you rotate pretty quickly as soon as something happens, which is good. That's exactly what you should do. Okay, so now you're in a 1v2. It looks like you're going to choose to just save. No, you're going to go CT. Okay, so can you pause for a sec?
Yeah, running again.
Okay, so that's okay because you kind of had to run there. But my issue with this is, so you're in a 1v2, right? In a 1v2, you have to take initiative as a CT a lot of the time. You have a lot of utility right now. One of their players is actually really low. You have an HE grenade and a Molotov. So what you could have done is, you know, one of them has to plant, right? So
right.
In my mind, the way I would play this is, I know I have an HE grenade. My teammate says probably one of them's pretty low. I'm guessing someone knows they got someone to 30 HP, so, or like did at least a little bit of damage. So I would have immediately taken that and said, like, okay, to win this 1v2, I need to get a kill while that guy's planting. I would have tried to grenade the planter, and I would have tried to use my molly earlier on. You were in jungle. You had a pretty good position in jungle. You could have seen the ramp cross, and you could have kind of like isolated angles where you were in jungle, but you were too scared to take that peek and take that info. What you should have done is, while you were in jungle, you should have been watching for that ramp cross. You should have been kind of isolating angles that you knew were possibilities. In a post plant, what are you worried about on A when you're retaking? Like, let me ask you that actually. If you're retaking from B, say you're in a 1v1, what angles do you have to be worried about? Like, where could the T go?
Does it depend where I'm entering from? Like jungle, I guess, in this scenario?
Yeah, say you're jungle, whatever. Yeah, sure.
I'm probably worried about if I have no eyes and my teammate didn't die on CT, I'm worried that he pushed through there. And then probably firebox ramp area. I doubt he'd go palace if I got there fast enough, because I'd either be able to hear it or see him going in there.
So here's the problem, right? When you went to jungle, you're right. If you got there fast enough and were holding the angle, you would be able to see him. But you didn't actually look there at all. When you went jungle, you just sat there and didn't peek anything. So you have the right thought process of like, hey, if I got jungle, I could see if he went palace. But you played this in a 1v2. You played too scared. You didn't try and isolate that angle and stop it from being a possibility. You know, what if one of these guys did try and go palace and you caught him? You have no idea. You didn't look jungle at all. You literally just sat behind, like you hugged the wall jungle, not peeking anything. So you don't know where they could be. You gave them, while you were jungle, they were both near or on site. You gave them the opportunity to go sandwich, Tetris, ramp, palace, under Balk. You just gave them all those angles for free. You could have confined them to like the site basically, and then that could have given you a better area of utility usage. You could have used your utility on site and maybe done more damage, but instead you just gave them all those angles for free because you were afraid to hold the cross or try and peek the cross. And while that's like an okay play in, you know, say a 3v2 or something like that, not peeking until your team's ready, when you're in a 1v2, you have to be willing to take risks like that. The only way that you win the round is by taking those 1v1s and forcing those 1v1s while they're trying to get into position, while you're able to like figure out, okay, they can't be here. You gave them all of that for free, so now they're just playing like a double ramp setup, and it's going to be really hard for you to win this.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because just think of like what was gained from you going from jungle to CT. Because you were in jungle in an advanced position, then you left and went CT.
I think my thought process basically was just like, okay, I got double smoked out. I don't have time to
You didn't get smoked out though. They actually smoked the plant. They didn't smoke out jungle. The smoke faded jungle and they smoked the plant.
Oh, was it fading?
Yeah, the smoke jungle faded and then they smoked so they could plant safely because they didn't know where you were. Which likely means that the guy that planted was probably the low guy. So you might have even been able to just like throw an UHE grenade into it. So okay, well, even if you get like smoked out jungle, like why would you not just jump down window and go connector or something? It's faster. You can cut off angles way faster.
Right.
So like going CT doesn't actually gain you anything. If there's a guy CT, you're gonna take a fight with him, I guess. But that's not like he has the advantage most of the time. There, he can just like find out where you are, then just run away. So it's...
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just played this really bad.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things where like when you need to recognize when you're in these rounds like what you should try and do. Okay, so I unpaused. The guy Tetris ended up killing you, so not much you could have done there. But yeah, like the reason why you lost that engagement is just because of how much control of the situation you gave them. When you're in those 1v2s and stuff, you have to try and like force some type of fight for yourself instead of just allowing them to be super comfortable. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it looks like they're doing smokes on A. Rotate here. This is good what you're doing. What you just did there was actually really good. You rotated like closer so that if it's an A, you're closer to your team, but you didn't give up full control of B. And it ended up being an A that just took like forever to execute on it. So you just full rotate. And that was good. Yeah, so what you did there, that was really good. One thing that I always think is important is when you're watching demos, like understand what you're doing well so that you can keep doing that. So when you did that, like that was actually something really good that even like a lot of players don't do. So keep that in mind. Like you did a good rotation there. Looks like you guys are going to try and hunt, blah, blah, blah.
Woo, I did something good.
No, that was really good. Like that, you rotated, but you're still spotting up for me in case they tried to do something fake. You had all your utility, didn't waste it. That was good.
Are you on next round?
Yes, I am. One thing I would like to see here and I don't know if you're going to do it. I paused before the end of the buy time. You have right now this. If you're paying attention to the rounds at all, you should know this is going to be an eco, or someone should call this is going to be an eco, and you're playing with me, and I always call stuff like that.
Right.
So I will for sure have called that this is going to be an eco from them because we reset them. You have 100 armor right now and no head armor. You should buy head armor. I don't know if you end up doing it this round, but you can upgrade to head armor for only $300 because you have full armor. So you should definitely do that because you know this is going to be an eco or like a really weird force buy if they do it. So I would definitely think that you should upgrade to head armor here. All
right, I'll keep that in mind, Nicos, because I barely even think about that.
Generally, okay, this is generally the rule of thumb how you should do it. If you survive a round ever with Kevlar, just Kevlar, unless you're ecoing the next round, always buy head armor. If you survive with 100 Kevlar from the round before, it's a better investment to buy the head armor. It's worth it because it only costs you. It's like diminishing returns or return on your investment. Your investment,
basically like a nade.
Exactly, yeah. Your investment at that point now. You've already saved your armor from the round before, so now you can afford to buy that head armor for no like lower cost. You don't have to rebuy armor or anything. You've survived the round, so unless you're really, really hurting for economy, it's almost always a good idea to buy that head armor if you have 100 from the round before, because it's like the initial investment of armor is the high cost, which is why, like, if you're buying armor a lot, if you're dying a lot, you don't want to be doing that every round. You don't want to be spending $1,000 every round on armor, which is why it's a good idea to buy light armor a lot of the time. However, like if you end up surviving that round, it's usually a good idea to buy that head armor because it does give you some benefit. And since you've already sunken that $600 in the round before, the benefit outweighs how much it'll cost you in that round.
All right.
Okay, so you can unpause now. Just starting the round, so it's going to be eco play. See quite a few, couple blocks, I guess, not quite a few. Let's see, jump spot B. C1. Okay. That right there is an example, by the way, of why you should be doing the jump spotting with your HE grenade. Because as you can see, that guy just literally beat your molly. He just jumped out right away.
Doesn't care about it. Yeah,
exactly. He took like 5 damage from it and just jumped out. If you had that HE grenade, you would have tagged him, probably fucked up his jump. Most of the time when you HE grenade, if you do it like quick enough, you'll fuck up his jump to the point where he won't actually make it out of the window, and then it just like completely fucks the forward movement of them. So if you have an HE grenade, better to do it with that.
All right.
Okay, so you do a good thing here, like Ob died mid. Again, there, you're running too much. You run too much in general, I think. Those guys on B, right now, they know they killed your... Not those guys. The enemy team knows they killed your cat player right now. Okay? So... the more sound that you make when you do things like this, the more info it gives them. Like there, right now, there's a guy underpass and there's a guy like the underpass stairs. Okay,
right.
They
both easily know it's me, like walking.
Exactly, because they know that cat player's dead. They know your cat player's dead, so they know right now in their heads or in their comms or whatever, they know, okay, the other B player is on cat right now. So that means that even though you have the advantage because you have a rifle and all that shit, like. Those guys B know that there's no one else on B site, or there's probably not that they don't know, but they know there's probably no one else on B site, so they could use that info to try and like get a plant out of this round or something like that. Just because you ran all that time, you could have just made that same play. You could have flashed. You could have just walked that whole time. You could have walked and thrown your smoke. They wouldn't know where you are. But because you're running so much, it gives away all that info for no real reason. Like you don't need to like frantically cover mid super fast because your team's in a fight or something like that. Like your team has pretty good position on A. Like Jacob is watching like balcony, playing default. He's like rotating between connector and balcony. I'm in CT spawn opping the window room, and Delfiki's watching ramp. So you know that there's no like real danger to your team. No one's engaged in a fight, so you don't need to be running around all that time to do that. You don't need to like frantically cover this because your team's in a fight with them or something. Okay, so you can unpause now.
All right.
Okay, so see, now you're doing a better job of walking, but they already know where you are, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's just useless at that point.
And another like kind of side reason is when you're running, it's harder for you to hear other people running. So I don't know if you actually heard it, but I might have been talking, but those guys underpass actually just made a couple steps. And if you're running back and forth, like they made a step when you were running earlier that you probably didn't hear because it was clouded by your own running. And that info is important for you guys to have as well. So just like another minor thing, like when you're doing that, it also impedes your own sound,
Like, right,
and ability to hear other people. Exactly,
well.
yeah. You really like buying that HE grenade, but you never seem to use it.
I should probably just start going for double flash, honestly, but
Okay, so you saw one guy opping there, and then you switched to your smoke. You probably should have just thrown an HE grenade at him, and then like repositioned. Also, be very careful of spamming a smoke against an opper.
yeah, tracers are a bitch.
Yeah.
I always
I've
forget
killed
about that.
many people doing that. I very much enjoy it. Yeah, so that's actually one thing I was about to say, but you just died anyways as a result of it. When you're jump spotting, it's very important, especially against an opper, that you don't do it with your gun out. It slows your air acceleration down quite a bit. So you actually just died there. It wasn't probably that hard of a shot for him to hit because you were doing it with your AK out. Not to mention, I actually think that was a bad decision to be jump spotting that anyways. The bomb's down top mid. What you should have done is just gone van and held the headshot angle because you know he has an op upper B. So if he comes out B, it's going to be very hard for him to clear that. And even if he does clear it, he's going to have to hit like an op headshot on you that
Right.
you have the advantage of. You have a rifle, you can fire a couple shots at him. He has to hit his first shot or otherwise he's dead. So you're better off playing something like that where you force him to commit to an angle instead of giving him that kill. Because you're in a 4v1. You don't need to be getting that info anymore. You already know where the bomb is. You know where he was earlier. You can just hold the exit at B, like from a gay angle, like crouch under like the fucking ledge or something like that. Listen for him to drop, like watch the window drop from like under window and listen for him to drop van, something like that. You can reposition. Okay, so we can go to the next round.
Okay.
Okay, so we see you playing snacks. So I've now seen the only time you use your grenade is when you play snacks, because both times you played snacks with a grenade, you use it. But other than that, you don't ever use it. Okay, so you bought head armor this round probably because I called that it was going to be an eco, so that's a good call. You're playing a very passive angle.
What? Wait, what round are you on?
It's 12-12 right now for me.
Oh shit, I'm 1-9 somehow. I'll catch up.
I don't think I skipped 2 rounds. No, I didn't. Yeah, this is sweet.
What time are you at?
It's 109 for me.
Okay. Alright, I'm there.
Okay. So you're on like the balcony ledge. Jump to snacks. Yeah, that's okay. Looks like I'm going to rotate off to support at A. You're going to stay upper B. Now you're rotating. Okay, so right there, so I'm at the end of the round now. That was a pretty good play, but I think you stayed jungle too long. As soon as you see your teammate there,
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I just kind of froze there for a second.
Exactly, and you
when
were
I
just
saw
like,
the guy's sandwich.
yeah, you weren't sure what to do, and your teammate made the right play of trying to kill that guy's sandwich, and you were just a little bit too slow to go support him. You did the right thing, like you were holding because you knew there was a guy palace, so you were holding the palace run out, which was the right thing to do, but you just needed to get closer to him so that if he didn't kill that guy, like he killed both the guys sandwich and Tetris, so that was good for him, but if he didn't kill those guys, you needed to be in a position where you could trade, and you weren't because you stayed jungle too long. So that's kind of that hesitance that I'm talking about. When you see your teammate making a play like that, you need to just immediately like turn off, you just need to turn off the thinking and just say, I'm gonna help my teammate.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay, so we're gonna see by double flash this round. That's good. Okay, you're rotating cell bomb. Looks like they're executing on A.
You're just going ham too, apparently.
Okay, that was a good play from you there. Cat with an up. Oh, I remember this round. I think Delph threw a smoke on connector or something.
He threw it on bomb, and then someone else threw a connector smoke or something like that.
No, I think Delph threw the connector smoke.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
And he killed someone through it. Okay, so that was actually a really well played round. You did a really good job rotating early. You knew that the bomb was there and they were executing on A, so you didn't hesitate on your rotation. You got into position. Once you got to jungle, you actually did something, which was good, because sometimes like when you get to jungle, you just kind of freeze there. And when you got jungle, instead of just staying jungle and doing nothing, you ran all the way to triple because it gave you the lane to do that, and you caught the planner after you planted, and you were rewarded with a kill from it. So that's like an example of when you want to be decisive, and when you do something, you get rewarded for it a lot of the time.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I'm on the next round now. I don't know if you are yet.
Same.
Okay, yeah.
I'm at like 128.
Yeah, I'm at 130 right now, so. Okay, so it seems like you like to play on snacks a lot. Can you just pause for a second?
Yeah.
What spots at B do you like playing? What are the... it seems like...
Early round?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. So, like, usually, cat guy will smoke it. I'll try to get snacks or just somewhere around Van, just so I'm in a good position to, like, kind of catch him off guard if it is a rush, and they just decide to, like, push through the smoke. Once that smoke falls, if I feel like they're still putting pressure, like a flash or, like, something like that, I'll re-smoke. But most of the time, I'll kind of wait on snacks, do a flash peek, kind of, like, see what's up. If I know I'm playing with like a sight partner there, or my cat guy is like a little more close on sight, I'll play like bench or fallen or boost it up on sight box, watching that like weird cross angle through like tarp or whatever like that.
Okay.
But generally, like if I feel like they're putting pressure down on sight, I'll fall off snacks so I'm not stuck up there, so it's not just like a one and done and they can trade me pretty easily. I'll try to get like bench or fallen or somewhere just a little safer. That way I can survive still and fight.
Okay, so the way that you're talking about it, it seems like you have to understand what the purpose of playing snacks is. The reason why you play a spot like snacks is because you can catch people while they're trying to come out onto the site, and you can usually get like 2 or 3 kills from there. It's what I kind of call like an impact site hold spot, where you're not playing to stay alive, you're playing to try and kill them when they come onto your site.
Right.
The purpose of that spot is to do that. It's not to like play it for a little bit, and then try and fall back to Fallen. When you fall back to like, you can get away with it sometimes at Snacks, which is good if you can get away with it, but most of the time you're going to get traded there. When you play it, you need to like understand that you're playing to try and kill everyone that's coming out. You also need to like, I think, have a little bit more versatility in where you're playing, because if they know you're playing there every round, they're just going to maul you, grenade you, just like pre-peek the angle. Luckily, they didn't actually come B at all pretty much this game. I think it seems like they came B like once.
That's another reason too, I think I might be going there so much, because if I know they're not coming and I haven't like killed them enough from it, I'll just keep playing it because I know.
Okay.
Like, hey, I haven't checked it yet.
Which is true, yeah. Like,
it could just be a weird excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. That's totally viable. But my only concern with that is it doesn't seem like, even from talking to you, like you don't really know like other strong spots that you can play. And I think it's pretty important that you can like have a little bit more versatility. There's a lot of different spots that you can play that are strong at B.
Okay.
You should also learn to jump spot with your knife out from further to the right, so it only shows the tip of your head. It's a bit of a harder shot to hit. When I've seen you jump spot, you expose like a decent amount of your body while you're doing it. If you go like deeper to the right and jump like a little bit earlier, you'll still be able to jump spot, but you'll only be visible on like the arc down instead of the arc up and down. So it's a harder shot for you to hit, or for them to hit, and it gives you the same amount of information. Another thing I'd like to see you do a little bit more, especially against teams like this. This team has not put any pressure on upper B at all. You've even talked about it a little bit, how they're not doing it at all. I would like to see you walk push or get like deeper control of upper B. You play very passively on the B site, which is fine, especially since your team's holding A lot. But it puts a lot of like pressure on your team to hold mid and hold A. Sometimes if you know they're not ever pressuring B, which they're not, you can abuse that and just walk push and get info and do like a mid-round push and find out where they're going. So I'd like to see you do that a little bit more against teams that don't pressure it.
Okay. Usually if I do push, it's more when like I know they're more grouped A, but I guess I should add like when they're not actually applying pressure, that makes sense to put pressure down on it.
It's not even like it's just like controlling the area, right? If they're giving you free control of that, you should take that if you can.
You're just like scouting it out.
Yeah, exactly. You can get into a really good position where you could make, like, maybe they come B late round, you could get some kills, or maybe they go A and then you can get a really good flank on, right? Like you could flank through T spawn really fast because you're already like, you know, above underpass, and you can have your whole team ready for an A execute while you're just controlling like above underpass if they have no one there, right? So you could do all those types of things. All right, so I see you up on Cat right now. I unpaused, by the way. I forgot to tell you, sorry.
Okay.
It's around 1 minute right now. So actually, this is a good example of it right now. So they're actually grouped towards upper B, and you go bench, which again, this is a really bad spot to play. This is an example of like, think of bench as a spot, right? Like, when is bench strong? Bench is strong when you can take multiple fights against them because they don't know where your team is, and they have to be coming out worried about both you and your cat player. Right now, your cat player is dead. They know there's no one on cat. So when they come out, you're going to have like, I'm paused right now, by the way, so it's 58 seconds for me. But when they come out, you're going to have probably like 2 or 3 guys looking directly at you or in your area, and you're going to get 1 kill and die. I can almost guarantee you're at best going to get like 1 kill here, unless they really fuck up, because they've got all of cat clear already. All they have to worry about is van, backside, and bench. That's pretty much it. Like, they don't have to worry about any other angles, so they're going to isolate you really easily.
Would like the optimal position then like back and market, since it's already like a man advantage?
No, I actually think you're in a 3v5 right now. You need to do something. Like, you guys need to make some type of play. So I think you should have pushed upper B earlier when you had the chance. You didn't do that. So if you're not going to do that, I think you should be playing Fallen, looking at cat, trying to take a kill on them cat when they come up, and then repositioning and killing a guy like while he's coming out balcony, and then trying to get, you know, at least 2 kills that way and also stay alive. You also have a molly that it doesn't look like you're going to use. I'm not sure, you might end up using it. But when you're in this position, Van, and you have a molly, you should molly under window. You could have even played Van, actually. Van would have been a better position too, because they gave you a smoke. They gave you that smoke to cover the drop down, so you could have played like under Van, killed a couple of them crossing sight, could have mollied out the window or something like that. So right now, you haven't really done anything. You haven't. I don't know if you're going to use your flash, but I think you're playing trying to be too sneaky, and they're just going to clear your angle anyways. I think you're trying to not give away your position, but you're in a man down advantage. They have the advantage of being able to just throw bodies to clear. So you need to do your best to delay and try and get some chip damage, take a fight early in the engagement, get a kill, and then reposition, maybe get another kill. And then by then there might have been enough time where your teammate can rotate. I'm already like pretty close here. So if you just use some utility to delay, I'll actually be on site in time to fight with you. But I'm going to see what you do. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm about to unpause. But
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just get cleared bench, you die immediately, and then everyone else just kind of falls with you. So again, you didn't use your utility at all there as the anchor, and then you kind of had the right idea. You tried to take a fight on Cat, but you did it way too late. So by the time you took that fight on Cat, they were already on site on you and you died. So if you would have done that like a little bit earlier, played to like take that engagement a little bit earlier, maybe get a kill there, you could have done something with it, but you gave yourself way too short of a window. You basically had to one tap that guy Cat and then try and kill the other guy.
Shot myself in the foot and put myself
Yeah,
on the clock,
exactly.
basically.
That was unfortunate knife out timing.
Yeah.
So right there, you made the right play, actually. You did exactly what I was talking about, where I said you should be trying to like push upper B. You did that right there. That was really good how you did that. But the problem was you just stopped doing it way too early. You should have committed to that more and just kept walking that angle until you know it's fair. That extra amount of time that you're saving is not gonna like help you. That's again kind of that. It seems like you get impatient in situations like that, and you try and just like rush through it. Right now, at that point, you're committed to pushing and trying to get the info on those guys. If you run there, it gains nothing. You're not going to be able to help your teammate no matter what. Your team's basically on a site left to try and like do what they can to stay alive, but you are in a position where you can clear upper B. So it's better for you to take that slowly, keep walking, keep your gun out, get control of it, because you didn't know for sure they killed your Cat player and they killed your connector player. But you didn't know for sure they were going A. There was no, like, the A guys hadn't come out A yet. So your A team was alive and they took mid. So you could have kept walking, clear that, and then pinch on the A guys, flank, do something like that. But instead you just pulled your knife and started running way too early and died because of it.
Definitely one of the bigger things when you work on them.
Yeah, I think you need to be just
happening a lot.
Yeah, way more patient with that. You're making way too much like sound when you don't need to. Okay, you guys are on an eco here. Probably not much that can happen. Dink that guy. Got aim punch, that's unfortunate. Okay, so I'm at the start of the final round.
Hold up, let me get there.
Okay. It's 14-15.
I don't know.
Alright. So it looks like we're going to see the final buy round of the half. Of the game, I should say, not the half. Looks like they're going to go for an out pick up or B. One thing I would like to say, when you're, so right there, what you're doing is you're holding for the smoke, right? So I'm not paused right now. I have it unpaused. But you're holding, waiting for that smoke. The angle that you're holding is actually pretty dangerous, because if they like are walking, if they just do like a walk entry or something like that, they're gonna catch you without you being ready for it. So it's better for you to just like sit below Van and wait if you're just gonna wait for that smoke anyways, because it's not gonna gain you anything by just waiting on top of Van. You made a nice play there. You heard the guy scoping in, and then you tried to take a peek. Unfortunately, it looked like you were unaware that they were up cat, so you just overexposed yourself to the angle.
Yeah.
So you made a really good play and got it into a 3v3, but then you kind of just like threw it based on not paying attention to what happened in the round.
I was winning until I lost.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would suggest, so it's pretty much the end of the demo. So that's another round or another death that's a result of just kind of like you not being aware of what's happening in the round, right? So I think the two main things that I take away from this that you need to work on is your awareness of what's happening in a round. Your rotations are pretty good. They're quick. And they're pretty fluid. They're not. I don't have a lot of problems with your rotations, at least on this map. It looked like you were rotating when you needed to rotate. You weren't taking too long to rotate. When you do rotate, though, you sometimes like get to where you need to rotate and then freeze and don't know what to do, and you're not sure of like how you should proceed once you actually get to the site. So what I would recommend is while you're rotating, pay attention to what's happening at the bomb site. When you're like, say you're on Mirage, right? And you're playing B like this, and you know they're executing on A. Your team's called like, okay, they're executing A, and your job's rotating. You have about 10 to 15 seconds of rotation time that you can literally just be running in a straight line, not really paying attention to what your guy is doing, how you're moving. Like you could just walk, like you just run forward and jump through a window. It's super fucking easy. You don't need to pay attention to that. So while you're doing that, and going through the motions of getting to the site, you should be paying attention to what's happening at the site, listening to your team's comms, paying attention to where players are so that you can understand like, okay, this is what I'm going to do once I'm there. You need to be thinking of that once you're there. When I'm rotating, the entire time I rotate, like if I'm playing A on Mirage, okay, and they're coming out B, the entire time I'm rotating, I literally am just looking at my mini map and figuring out what I'm going to do once I'm there. I don't pay attention to anything else. I just think of like, okay, my teammates are here, the enemies are doing this, they've planted here, you know, there's probably a guy here, whatever, I'm going to do this when I'm there. And then I do it when I'm there. There's no hesitation, there's no time frame, like I get there and then I'm like, okay, I'm here, now what do I do? I already know by the time I get to the site what I want to do and how I want to go forward. So that's what you need to try and work on your rotations, because you're when you start rotating is good, but what has been a bit of a problem is when you get to the site, you're not sure of what to do. It seems like you focus on getting there, and then once you're there, you try and figure out what to do, which is like if you can put a little bit of thought into it before you get there, it'll help you a lot because you can just kind of understand and then tweak once you're actually there.
Right. Okay.
The second thing is look at your minimap more. I know we kind of talked about it on your T side a lot. I think it's more of an issue with you on T side than it is on CT side, but there have been a couple rounds that you're really hurt by it on CT side, like that last round there with your cat player dead, that guy all the way up cat. That was literally just you not being aware of where your enemies were and where you were. Like your enemies were visible on cat pretty much that entire time. So you needed to be aware of that when you were coming out. You made the right plan over B, but then you just got caught off guard because of a lack of awareness. So those are main issues. Your impatience midway through a play, again, is kind of something that I think needs to be worked on. And crosshair placement, specifically on T side. Your crosshair placement on CT side was okay. It didn't seem like there were many issues with it on your CT side. Your CT side was more about your decisions once you were there. You were just a little bit too slow, but your crosshair placement was okay on CT side. On your T side, you really need to work on it when you're doing certain things. I think that you don't seem to have like a great idea of like where you should be looking when you peek into corners. So I think that's something you need to work on a lot on your T side, just general crosshair placement, understanding like, okay, when you're coming up connector, this is where you should be looking. When you're coming out palace, how to isolate all the different angles you're visible to, you know, what's a priority for you and what you need to focus on. Those are things that I think need to really be worked on your T side. Outside of that, I think they're actually, I was I don't want to say surprised because that sounds kind of mean. I don't mean this in a mean way, but like, I think you actually did more than I thought you would, right? Like, I don't think I'm trying to figure out a way that doesn't sound mean. I don't mean this in a bad way at all. Like, you're actually you're further along than I thought you would be, actually. Like, there a lot of these things that you need to fix. I thought there'd be bigger things that you need to fix. And from looking at this, it's more like there's a lot of small things that you need to work on that I think are holding you back right now. And I don't think it's as like, considering you've never played competitive CS or anything like that, you've never played any of those, like you haven't played a season of ESEA or anything like that, the mistakes that you're making that are costing you deaths and costing you lives or whatever are actually like just small mistakes that you keep making and keep costing you. So like if you can fix those things, you actually are pretty good on some of the other fundamentals. Like you don't seem like you're scared to do things. It seems like you're just kind of like unsure of what to do sometimes, and that can be solved by like understanding a little bit more about how the round is progressing and how you should react to it.
Yeah, like I have no problem just throwing my body at a site if it's gonna like help my team. Like I care less about dying, but I think you're right that I just need more of a mental plan as to what I'm doing and what I need to do.
Yeah, like so in your average like CT round, how much do you think about like what you're going to be doing? Do you find yourself just kind of like going through the motions a lot of the time? Like you just kind of do what you
I
feel?
Because like I would probably say so, unless a lot is happening on my site as an anchor. A lot of the time I'm kind of just like bored for a bit, and I think I should use that space to just think more of like, okay, my two teammates are fighting mid. I may need to rotate in like 5 seconds if shit starts happening.
Yeah, or think think of like, okay, so my teammates are fighting mid, which is common on Mirage. This happens a lot. My cat player died. What am I going to do? Like, try and think of like how you can change the outcome of the round after. Like, think about, okay, like what position will I play if he dies or when he's dead, right? And the thing is, like, for you especially, since you've never played competitively, it's going to take time to like get it to a point where you can do it. But when you start to think of these things, like the more you actively try and think of it, and the more you get yourself into that habit of like thinking of this, the more it becomes like second nature to you. So you don't have to focus on thinking of it later on. Like, like that's one thing that, like, for me, when I look at my radar every 5 seconds, I think about what I'm doing when I'm rotating. I think about where my teammates are all the time. Like I've basically, like, when I'm playing around, I have like an overview of the round in my head. I know what's happening at different sites, and if I'm not sure, I'll ask. Like, you hear me ask for information a lot of the time. Like, if Obe, you know, if I'm on T side with Obe and he's chair, I'll ask him something like, Obe, are you peeking cat? And if he says yes, then I'm going to adjust my positioning accordingly. That's because I have like an image of how he's playing in my head, and like I have that idea, right? But I don't think of any of that actively anymore. Like, I've done it for a while where I'm at a point where like
it's just like second
nature to me. Like, I don't have to focus like brain power on thinking of all of that, or like making a plan in my head when I'm rotating. And that's because I've done it a lot. And that's what you need to work on. Like, it's going to be, at first, it's going to take you thinking of it actively, like while you're rotating, thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to do this. Where are the enemies? They're here, blah, 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 right? So you will have to actively like force yourself to think of that. But when you do it a lot and get into the habit of doing it, it'll become something where like you'll start rotating and already be thinking of that, but not forcing yourself to do it. You'll just already kind of start knowing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like riding a bike or whatever. You know, the first couple times you ride a bike, you have to focus on it. You suck. Yeah, you have to focus on it. It's difficult. You suck at it. You fall or whatever. But the more you get to do it, the more it becomes second nature to you, and you don't have to focus on it as much. It's like the way the human brain works, right? It's like that with anything, with skating, with riding a bike, with, you know, fucking doing mental math. Like anything, you can train your brain to do things for you without having to think about it. But it's just about like actually putting that in and doing it.
Right. Okay. This is good. Thank you for this.
Yeah, no problem. We'll do a couple more some other time. I'm gonna hopefully, like, I hope this all actually recorded. We'll figure it out. I don't know, maybe it didn't, but yeah, like I'll record a couple more with you some other time later. I think that what might be good for you is spending some time. I think you should focus on playing specific spots so that you can get comfortable and in that process of like how you should react to situations, how you should do it. So I think it's important that you play those spots.
Like I try to do that for sure. Like Cash, I'm a B player. Like Mirage, I'm a B player. CT side. Like
I think you should try and do it on T side as well. I think on T side, a lot of your crosshair placement is from you not being comfortable with different areas. I think that
makes sense.
I think that if you put yourself into a position where you got comfortable with the angles at spots, your crosshair placement would be a lot better. So I think you should try and do that a little bit more. Like, you know, if you're playing Mirage, go mid every round until you get comfortable with the angles. You know, that's something that I think is really important. You need to understand the angles of the map and like how you should be pre-aiming it, because that to me is your biggest weakness on T-side right now. Like I think that you have really bad not really bad, but
I really struggle on T-side. I notice it like every time I play.
Yeah, because it seems like
sometimes I'll just go to, like, I remember one Dust game I was getting really frustrated because I was pretty much just feeding the whole time, but I felt like anywhere I went, I could just, like, I stood no chance, basically. Like, I just didn't know what was wrong with my play and, like, didn't know how I could improve it. So it just kept getting frustrated.
The thing with you that I noticed the most watching this is that, like, you make it really hard for yourself to get kills on T-side. Like, really hard. If I was doing some of the stuff that you were doing, despite me being a way better player, I wouldn't be able to get those kills. So, like, it's not because of... With you, it's not, like... Some of it, obviously, is skill. Like, you don't have, like, crazy good aim or anything like that to bail yourself out.
Right.
But, like, you're also making it really difficult for you to get kills because of the way that you're playing. Like, I think that's something that you need to look at and realize that, like... These are things that you can improve, and you're making it harder on yourself. Like, one thing that I think for you is a problem is, like, you don't know how to minimize death. You just, like, commit to a fight, and a lot of the time you don't commit very well. Like, you not that you don't commit very well, but the fights that you take,
it's just like I throw myself at the fight,
exactly. They're low percentage fights that you're taking. So not only do you, like, just commit to a low percentage fight where you probably don't have a way to get away, but, like, you don't need to do it all the time. Like, you do it in situations where you don't need to be doing it. You know, on an anti-eco, when your team has mid control, you don't need to be jumping out Palace for no reason. Like, those are type of things that I think you need to minimize. Like, probably about 4 or 5 of your deaths on T side were literally just because of that. And that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it adds up, right? Like, that, if you're doing that every game, like that all adds up. And it not only does it affect, like, your overall score line or how well you're performing, but it affects your I guess, like, maybe not confidence, but the mentality that you have in the game. Like, when you're dying like that, those are frustrating ways to die. Like, the way you jumped out balcony and there's a guy under balcony shooting you in the back, like, that's a frustrating way to die. So it doesn't, like, help you at all, and it just hurts you. And you could have minimized that death by just playing a little bit more safe, isolating your angles a little bit better. So I think that's something that I think you can really work on your T side, especially. Your CT side, you weren't bad with it, at least not in this game, but your T side, I think you definitely need to work on your crosshair placement and, like, understanding how to clear angles and, like, which angles are priorities for you. So I would definitely recommend...
I'll try to dry run in servers more then and just try to get a feel for it.
Yeah, do that. There's maps that allow you to, like, do that. It's called pre-aim maps or something like that. Like, there's, like, cobble ones. There's
just, like, shows you the most angles that you probably
it spawns bots, and you basically, like, run a course and do a time course of it where, like, it'll spawn them in common angles, and you just run down. Okay. Yeah, I'll link you it after. They're really useful.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.